What's up, guys? So today we have a question by Abandoned Void, who says, I don't know if you made a video on this topic yet. I haven't, and that's why I'm making it now. But I couldn't find it, but I'd be very interested to hear your perspective on various approaches to anonymous email, especially because that's a topic that's important to many legitimate non-criminal users like activists, whistleblowers, and journalists. So in this video, it would be very easy to just, Google a list of anonymous email providers and basically repeat the summary of what they say. I think if that was the kind of answer you wanted, you probably would have done exactly that. So I will put some links in the description to some that I have, used or had experience with that I personally like. The one thing that I would really like to crystallize and really make clear, though, in this discussion is who the provider is for email is almost irrelevant if, you're doing it and you're using the ClearNet, So like I highly suggest you don't use a proxy, use a VPN, but if it's something like the descriptions you made, I very much, like everyone knows here, very much am an advocate for Tor. And I would suggest that that's how you access this service. And with that in mind, like you access it through Tor, and you use encryption, whether it's PGP or whatever it may be. You try to use encryption with it. I think that's important as well. And then, doing it on I wouldn't suggest doing it on a Windows machine. I would have to send, or even a Mac. I mean, I personally detest Macs, but all Apple products really. But I would suggest doing it on Tails, and just really going that extra mile. Like if security is really an issue for you, use the highest level of OPSEC that you can. Like you don't have to be a drug dealer or a drug buyer to really take it seriously, and those people have things to lose, honestly, I think a lot of darknet vendors and, buyers, have a lot less to worry about than some of those people that you described. Some of those, some of those people can get killed. I mean, at least with darknet vendors, you're going to be facing time in prison, but it's not a guarantee that you're going to die. So there's that. But I definitely would, fully suggest using Tor, using encryption, and, try to use something like Tails, where you're not saving anything, and any creds that you're using, any credentials that you're using are memorized, so you have nothing written down, no password manager, nothing, it's all in your head. I think that's really important too. And then just, from there, it's like the kind of the common sense operational security stuff where it's like, loose lips sink ships. Don't brag about it. Don't tell people about it. Like you go out of your way to do all these things to make sure you're secure. And then you talk about it on Facebook or send to someone IM about it or a text message about it. Or like, you're in a rush. So it's like, oh, I want to send this message, but I'm not, I'm not going to go through the trouble of loading up Tails. I'm just going to log in, directly from Chrome or whatever, like you just like this, you killed all of your OPSEC, like it's just, that's not something I would do. So those little things, basically, I think is what you were asking about. And again, like if it wasn't, there'll be a list of, email providers that I liked, down below. But I hope that answered your question, Abandoned Void. And if you have any additional questions or want me to go more in depth, please let me know down below and I'll do that. Hope you guys enjoy the video and I'll see you in the next one.